Hello YouTube and welcome back to Old Flads. This is Ace of Spades and this is the landing onto the lunar Martian Mars, I think, planet. This is the custom map review, part 5. This is episode 3 that's been released today. It's been a super Sunday for that. Right, so we are now looking at another planet made by Eagle Eye 427. He asked me to have a look at this map and I'm glad I did because it's actually a very, very well made and very well designed map as well. So let's get straight into it. The idea behind it, I'm guessing by the red, is that this is Mars. This is the early sort of colonization of Mars that's been depicted here. Now, as we look from the map, it's not that big because obviously anti-gravity means you can jump a lot further, and because it doesn't cover all of the available grid, it means that you can actually get from one end to the other quite quickly. There is plenty to stop as we're going to look at, but if you will notice, there are some huge open spaces. They are taken up by these craters and these mountains that do offer a lot of cover and a lot of opportunity for flanking maneuvers as well, which is a very, very good design, especially in open maps. Castle World failed because of this. Castle Wars, failed because of this, in my opinion, because there were long sight lines, there wasn't a lot of cover, and you did sort of end up just dying a lot, and it became very repetitive and very boring. This map, because you can get across it so quickly, is actually a lot of fun. I played it in TDM earlier, and you can really play the map properly and really get a good sort of start into this game, simply by playing the available map space. It doesn't look like you'd want to play it because obviously you'd think you just bomb straight down the middle. That doesn't work so much on here. It's a very cleverly designed map with regards to that. I don't think it took that long to make, if I'm being perfectly honest. And that's not me trying to be harsh against the guy that made it. It's just it does seem very simple, but in its simplicity, it's actually done its job perfectly well. Now, as you would expect from a Mars landing, or a sort of extraterrestrial landing, if you like, there isn't a lot here so far. We've got some silos, some satellites, landing craft. We've got some observation decks for this, what I'm presuming is either a meteorite or it might be Object A3. That's a DayZ reference, by the way. There's the rocket, which obviously takes you home. There's a biosphere here. There's also a bigger biosphere over here, and I love these things. I don't know if these are prefabs. Okay, I'll be perfectly honest, but you can go in here, and you can actually get in here and then create a very sort of fetching looking sniping base, which will give you a huge sight lines as well, and sort of gets over the issue that you have with the mountains being in the way. I mean, from up here, you're looking a long way from there. That's a really nice design. I really like that. But it does what it's supposed to do. It looks like how I would expect, at least, the first sort of bases to look as we colonize different planets. And I think that's probably where the brilliance in this map is. All right, it may be simple. It may be full of a lot of prefabs. A lot of this has been designed to look as it's supposed to look. So I think from a creativity standpoint, I think it's a very, very nice job. Now, with regards to the actual gameplay, from this biosphere, this is the green spawn over here. And from over here, you're obviously going to see you're covered by this biosphere. That's a very important thing, because otherwise there would be a very good chance of you getting spawn raped from downtown by the snipers, which happens a lot in Lunar Base. There are positions for snipers and for the enemy to come in and base rape you, and I didn't notice any alternative spawns. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I just didn't notice them when I was playing. I kept getting spawned here as green, and then I kept getting spawned over the other side of the map, which does seem like a long way. It isn't when you're actually on the ground playing, over here for blue team. Once again, though, with regards to them seeming fairly open, they're not that open when you get in there. I mean, it's a long way for the opposite teams to have to come and actually set up posts and rape you in this area of the spawn. It doesn't happen as much as you'd sort of think. Plus, he's done a really good job of allowing different escape routes. It is perfectly possible to sneak round through here, dig a tunnel under here, or escape down this shaft through here. This shaft, however, you need to be careful of, because as you come around this corner, that is a long and very dangerous sight line. So what I would suggest is, as you come through, dig a hole through here and actually come around the side of it and come up on top of it, and you'll actually be able to flank around the people that will be trying to camp you inevitably from this corner here. Now once you're into the open part of the map, it does get pretty crazy in this middle bit. I would avoid it as much as possible. As with any FPS game, the best idea is to skirt around the corner of the map. If you want to look at KD, especially for team deathmatch, don't go through the middle of the map. Doesn't usually work out too well. With regards to coming into the enemy base for the other game modes, however, this is a game mode this is a map, sorry, that will work as if you want to play Lone Wolf, you have a very good chance of it because it's so big around the outside and there is a lot of cover. You actually do have a good chance of actually working this map on your own. I'm all for teamwork, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I would suggest that you try and work it as a team, but nonetheless, it's not essential for this, and I do quite like that because whilst I love team play and I prefer team orientated maps, I do appreciate the fact that people do play on their own, they do play with randoms, and this map caters for you really nicely. There are some huge sightlines, there's some great places to snipe from as well. The rocket, for example, if you can get somewhere near the top of that, I wouldn't suggest going right the way to the top, because your render distance is going to be hampered. If you could set up base sort of on these ledges around here, you're getting some great sight lines, especially with the single shot sniper rifle, which is my preferred weapon, as most of you probably already know. Anyway, let's get on to the scores, because I think we've had a look at it. It's a nice looking map, it's well designed, although it's simplistic. I think it's very important. Right, so aesthetics. I think it looks great. I think it probably could have looked better, but it does exactly the job it's supposed to do, and it's probably true to life. I mean, I know that Mars does have a few more pitfalls and a few more holes. I'd like to see the terrain a little higher, or just sort of manipulated a bit better. So I'm actually going to give it, for aesthetics, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think that's a fair score. Creativity. Okay, Lunar Base exists, but it doesn't look anything like this. It's also not the same colour, which is an effort in itself. And also the way that it's been designed has really given you an opportunity to play this in a multitude of styles. That's a very, very clever thing to do. Lots of people will try to do that, and their maps will look nice, but whether or not they actually manage to do that is a completely and utterly different thing. So I think for creativity, I'm actually going to give it a 10. So we're up to 18 now. Usage of the map. Now, if you're sensible, in every game mode, you'll use all of this map, okay? If you run down the middle, you're going to die a lot. Usage of this map in particular is highly, highly important. And I would suggest, I would really suggest that you actually put the effort in to work around the edge of this map. Because if you do, you're going to have a far better KD if you're playing Team Deathmatch. You're going to keep yourself out of trouble when it comes to the sort of objective-based games. And you're also just giving yourself the best opportunity to work as a team and to communicate and give people best references as possible about enemy locations. That's an important thing with this map. You've got some very high places and very good easy places to hide. Talking as a team is very important on this map. You'll be able to, as a marksman, you'll be able to get a lot of hits in yourself. You'll also be able to dictate where players going. Because your render distance runs out, people that come around the sides of the map, you're going to be able to pinpoint them early and see them and just mark them up for your rest of your team. So with regards to use of the map, I'm going to give it a 10. So what are we up to now? We're up to 28. This is actually going pretty well. Game modes. The game mode availability for this game is not listed, which is quite a different... Oh, yes, it is. Okay, sorry about that. Multi-hill, Team Deathmatch, and Zombies. I would have liked to have seen more, especially with regards to CTF. I think CTF would have been a much needed requirement for this map. He didn't fancy it. He wanted multi-hill. It's perfect for multi-hill. It's excellent for multi-hill. Team Deathmatch which is what I played. That's a lot of fun. It's a lot of chaos, but you do need a lot of players, otherwise it can get a bit lonely in this. And zombie mode, I don't know how I feel about zombie mode on this, if I'm being perfectly honest. I would say that zombie mode's possible. I do think it would just turn into a running map, though. I don't like the idea of running zombie modes on these lunar bases. It's pretty unfair on the zombies. So, I mean, but the game modes are there. He's made them available for it. He's put the time in to do that. So I'm going to give him the 3 out of 10. So what are we up to now? 28, 31 so far. Longevity prediction. I am going to say that people will enjoy this map, but I don't think that it's going to be a firm favourite. I mean, that's nothing to take... It's difficult for me to say these sort of things because it makes it look like I'm just hammering the guy that's put a lot of time and effort into making this map. It's not what that's not what I'm saying. These are my personal viewpoints. This map is fun and it's good. I would have preferred it with CTF. I'd also have preferred it probably with Diamond Mine. I do like Diamond Mine on these lunar base maps. I think they drive action into the areas. That's a very important thing. So I'd like to see you change that. Longevity, I think people are going to play it and enjoy it, and I think then they're going to get tired of it due to its size and the fact that it's limited to its game modes. So I'm actually going to give it a 7. So we've gone up through, we've got 31 plus 7, 38 out of 50. That beat a vast, so it's a pretty good score. You should be pretty happy with yourself, Eagle Eye. Please don't take anything I say to heart about these. These are simply my opinions. I don't. If you don't like them, then that's fine. Then comment in below saying why you didn't like my opinions, and I'll greatly appreciate that. I'd like to hear the social side of what you guys think. From my personal standpoint of this as a map, I am going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's well designed. I think it's got some great areas that you could just make gameplay work so well, but it does lack heavily on the game modes that are available to it, and I think that actually sets it back. So there you have it. That is the end of my Super Sunday review. There have been 3 episodes. This scores a 38 out of 50, which is a very, very good score. So I think you should give yourself a pat on the back, Mr. Eagle Eye 427. Thank you very much for volunteering your map to me to review, and I shall see you next time on the Ace of Spades custom map review. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Old Flads. Cheers and goodbye.